As I mentioned before, we are live. Welcome to the stream. Today, we will take a look at the Bitcoin chart on a higher time frame. We will also take a look at a few altcoins. And I'll also answer your questions you might have in the chat. But first, I want to take a moment. It has been one hell of a time. But how about we take it a step further? Turn it up a notch. How about we take it to the next level, guys? How about we go for a ride? Ladies and gentlemen, practice, accuracy, speed. Let's kick things into gear. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement for you guys. This is not a drill. I am so incredibly thrilled to be bringing you this announcement. It is real and it's happening. This has been a long-awaited request from many of you, but now the wait is finally over. I have finally decided that it only makes sense to provide a more permanent place of learning. The Crypto Compass series has been a project I have received literally an overwhelmingly positive response. But as we had new information coming in as these days progressed, there was not really a place to keep you guys updated. After taking this into long consideration, I found that it really only makes sense to provide you with a platform where we can keep the communication ongoing and thrive. I have decided to commit myself to doing this, and that is why on the 14th of June, Thrive Labs will launch its very own Discord trading community. In this Discord community, I will continue to give day trading video updates of the markets, but that is really only a small fraction of what Thrive Labs will be. It is going to be much more than that. You will not only have access to a whole community of people that share the same journey to profitability, I will also be there every single day to give guidance throughout the trading sessions. You can follow along with my train of thoughts, learn, ask questions, and you can connect with me, but also with each other. You will be able to get answers to all your questions in depth and in detail. I will be actively present every single day of the week to help you grow your confidence and provide you with a platform where you can learn, thrive, and become a well-equipped trader. I want this to be a place for serious study, but accessible from people from all walks of life. And this is only the beginning, because we have a whole bunch of additional things planned for the future as well. So if you want to be part of the very beginning of this new and epic journey, then you'll be able to enjoy a 20% early discount on your first purchase if you sign up before the launch. The focus of the community will be on learning, but it will not be a group where I will give signals or tell you exactly where to enter or to exit trades. This is because I firmly believe that it is much more valuable to actually teach you how to do it yourself. For I firmly believe that this is a skill that will last you a lifetime, regardless of the market conditions, regardless of the assets that you're looking to trade. As I like to quote, it is much better to learn how to fish than to just give you the fish. So check out the website thrive-labs.io, and I will be excitedly looking forward to getting to know you and embark together on a new and amazing journey. I look forward giving you a warm welcome on the 14th of June and experience the dawn of a new era in crypto trading. See you there. I am not going to lie. It has been a while since I was actually a little bit nervous before starting a stream. So hold on. By the way, let me really quickly fix my webcam. Should be fixed now, I think. Yes, there we go. Wow. Yeah, I am very, very excited to bring to you this announcement. Yeah, it's what can I say? All the information is just given in the thing that I just mentioned. And as a matter of fact, the website currently has just gone live, where you can take a look around, explore a little bit. Well, there's actually not that much to explore because, we're not officially live yet, but you can now sign up until the 14th of June to take advantage of a 20% discount. And then on the 14th of June, it's gonna go. Take a look at the website. Take a look around. If you have any questions, by the way, then I think I need to move a little bit. You can simply also ask around here, and there will be help available for you to answer any questions regarding to the community that you might have. So, with that said, I think it's now time to take a small breather. I'm going to take a sip of my water, and we will recollect ourselves and simply focus on the charts. I'm seeing a lot of really positive reactions, so that's really, really, really nice. I've been thinking a really long time about doing this, whether I want to do it or not. It does require quite a bit of commitment as well. But people kept asking, and not gonna lie, as I'm now doing the Crypto Compass series, it pretty much became clear to me. I just really like to help people out. I like to teach them. And I figured that just doing this series alone is just not enough to give you all the tools that you need to, give you the full confidence on day trading, because obviously throughout the day you have market fluctuations. So it only makes sense that I'm going to do this. So it's going to be a new era, a new chapter, and I'm super excited for it. So hope to see you there. But I think now it's time to just start focusing on the chart. I'm so confused. Having 2 glasses of water over here. So now let's calm down and focus on the chart. I will quickly note a little bit about the day trading part. I'm not really going to cover the day trading aspect of things because, that is what I will do tomorrow in the next episode of Crypto Compass. But today I'm going to focus a little bit more on the midterm time frame. I do have a small few notes on what is happening currently. We are simply now in the process of backtesting that channel that we've broken out of. To be really honest, I'm not really convinced on the current price action, and that has to do with the fact, 2 reasons really. First of all, I haven't traded today because here in the Netherlands it is it's a holiday. So for me, I've just not been focused on the charts today. And so does a large part of the world as well. In New York, the markets are also closed. So it's kind of like a really drizzling, low volume day currently. So at the moment, we are simply just backtesting this channel. I am personally going to wait till tomorrow to see what the price is gonna give us. I consider this is all still part of, I would say, the weekend movement. So I kind of really want to see what New York's gonna do tomorrow. As far as the small update goes, well, we are now currently just hovering at support, where we do have a chance to bounce, where I foresee a potential range to arise maybe around here, which, if this holds up tomorrow, that is probably what I will be looking to trade. Currently, the volume, well, I would say here at the lows, there is some volume coming in. It's nothing really too crazy, but longs and shorts are pretty much getting, they're fairly equal, to be fair. So it's a bit of a 50-50 situation. I'm not really seeing very strong support coming in here. Neither do I see really aggressive pushes downside. With that being said, though, if we really start getting acceptance back into this range, then it is pretty probable that we're going to this piece of price action can be classed as a deviation from this range, and we can simply continue to trade the range that we've been in for such a long time. That is currently what I have on Bitcoin on the lower time frames, even though I'm checking this on a 4-hour chart. But hey, I hope you get the point. Let's zoom out for a little bit. Let us zoom out for a little bit, because we do have some nice progression that, strengthens once again a potential bullish case. So let's just really review for now, because I haven't done a live stream for some time, so I think it only makes sense to just give you a basic overview on what I'm looking at. And to tell you really the truth, not really that much has changed. I mean, the overall context remains that we've broken out of a 6-month range or longer. Let's see, July. Well, it's coming up to a year now. In March, we broke out and we remain outside of this range, supporting that bullish case. And within that range, we have till the day of today, we've maintained that uptrend. We have met resistance, which is now currently the case, not only in this old consolidation range, but also in a really macro long-term sideways channel. I'm now drawing it with a brush, but this is how it looks in actual technical analysis. So this is the channel that I have been looking for, and you can see that we had this really, really nice reaction thus far. And at the moment, we are just consolidating underneath resistance, but above support, leaving us in a little bit of a sideways market, really, that is going on for quite a while now, a good 2 months now, and really not that much has changed, to be fair. What did change is the volume levels, and that is what I want to quickly take a look at, because it only makes sense. We've started the range over here, and there we have our volume levels, and with that we also have the reason why we are now retracing from that level, being the POC, getting a reaction, really. So now it really matters. It's pretty important. Are we getting acceptance back into this local range, I would say, or are we keep on back testing that? And again, since this is the midterm time frame, I'm looking more or less at a more of a region, not necessarily the exact level, although I would not complain if we do get a reaction from the exact level. But for swing trading, I'm more thinking in regions. So if we really start reclaiming this point of control, then simply we have that value area high next. And that also more or less not corresponds, doesn't correspond with the level I'm actually really looking for, which is that $29,200. For me, that is really the line in the sand, whether this is starting to get potential for higher prices upwards. Overall, I remain more or less bullish on the chart, because we haven't really necessarily broken anything. It got more nuanced. That is what I have to admit, because if you would be looking at the range as follows, right? So we had this massive increase in price, and then we had this sideways consolidation, broke out, failed, backtested, and since then you could say like, okay, this small range became part of a bigger range. Last week or last 2 weeks or so, we actively changed that market structure, and we started ranging more or less on slightly below this range, making it look like, okay, it's starting to look a little bit more 50-50 right now. So what I did with my swing trades, I took some hedges just to protect myself, just in the case we would have a drop. Right? I got stopped out of those hedges now. So now I'm fully back into my swing trades, and I remain so. You know, I have multiple swing trades. I made it no secret that I've been building a position throughout the lows of these range over the period of a few months' time. But I also still remain in a long trade from 26,000 something, 26,700 from the top of my head. And now we have actually broken back into the old range, into the volume levels. So that once again strengthens once again the bullish case. However, if you would look at it in local terms of local market structure, currently we do remain in bearish market structure, right? So what I now would really like to see is actually having this rejection put in a higher low, which could present a possible trading opportunity, not for me because I am fully positioned already. So I will not be taking any new swing trading opportunities. So what I'm doing right now is analyzing it in a way, if you would have not taken the trade essentially. So waiting for that backtest and that local time frame market structure could potentially position yourself for yet another swing trade opportunity. If you, let's say, are more of a conservative trader, or if you are not in a position yet and you're looking to potentially take one. Keep in mind, these are not signals, right? So use this as information to add up to your own ideas. I have to mention that, even though most of you are already aware of that, but I have to mention that. If we do get a bullish reaction from, let's say, a support level over here, maybe slightly lower even, right? And then in turn reclaim that point of control, then I think the chances increase that this is yet another higher low. And we indeed embarked on a new trend. First off, looking for a full rotation to the highs of this entire range. That is what I would say, right? Because let's say if we reclaim the point of control, I'm not immediately going to assume that we're going to go to, let's say, $40,000 immediately, let's say, right? But the probabilities definitely increase. When that overall market structure is confirmed, ultimately we really need to reclaim that $30,000. That is really a really big level. A really big level, although personally I would say if we start reclaiming that 29,200, for me that would be already a significant early sign of strength where I would be anticipating ultimately for higher prices. Most likely we are gonna get some, maybe a range up here or something like that if we get there. For me that's all fine because I am nicely positioned. So for me, it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't really matter for me. So I'm positioned in such a way that these kind of fluctuations within the range are completely fine with me. So, yeah, that is pretty much what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. So ultimately, while there's a little bit more nuance, ultimately I'm still looking for the same kind of price action. Ultimately, really, I would not be surprised that if we start reclaiming this $30,000, that we would see a fairly rapid advance up to the upper $30,000 levels, so maybe $39,000. Really strong resistance as well. If we reclaim that, then I foresee, higher prices really coming back up to that $48,000 to $50,000, right? And this is on a macro time frame. As you can see, this is not going to happen overnight. This is going to take a good few weeks to get there. We will have retracements along the way. We will have volatility along the way. So that would be my expectation. And that is what I am still trading for on Bitcoin. So that is what I expect. And once again, when is that idea invalidated? Well, now we have that new information. I would really say if we start losing this level, right, that would be a significant sign of weakness already. But the real line in the sand would really be this 24,000. Let me dive into my screen really quickly because the letters are a little bit small. 24,352. In other words, this consolidation region, which also corresponds with the top line of this range. If we really start getting back into that, I would say that would look pretty damn bearish. Until then, I remain my stance remains pretty much unchanged, right? But with that volatility, right, I have seen volume flowing into the altcoins. So I've asked you guys on Twitter, like, hey, you guys name some coins, and I will just to celebrate everything that's been going on. By the way, we're also nearly on 5,000 subscribers on the channel, so that definitely deserves a little bit of celebration. So I've decided to post on Twitter, like, hey guys, pick an altcoin, and the one who pretty much gets called out the most, I'm going to do some fresh analysis on. I have a few contenders, to be fair, which is DOT, GRT, Arbitum, and Matic. We'll see how far we get. So let me just take on one altcoin at first, and then I will take a look at some questions, and then we'll see how long we spent on one altcoin. I guess I'm just going to start with, one that is pretty clear to me, which is Arbitum. I have looked at that actually today. It's a very young chart. Not too complicated really, because all that happens is, on release, massive pump, and since then we've pretty much sat in a range. And I've already covered this before very briefly, where I said, like, okay, I would be interested in buying that $1. As a matter of fact, I did. Why did I buy there? Well, if you have watched that stream, it's quite a while ago, so it's pretty easy to not remember. I was kind of looking at it as something along the lines of this, like a sideways channel, where simply I would expect like a fake out of these lows, right? In other words, pretty much something along the lines of a swing failure pattern. And with altcoins, I'm definitely a little bit more lenient with classing something as a swing failure pattern, because there's not as much volume on the main asset like Bitcoin or Ethereum than on these coins. So, the margin that I'm looking at in terms of regions is a little bit wider, especially on the swing trading aspect. So I would class this as some sort of a fake out, and we have then been ranging around that bottom line, and we have now broken out of this range. So thus far, this is quite a large percentage again. I mean, this is 22%, right? To the upside. So that means that for me, in order to trade this sensibly, 22% on a single trade is quite a lot, right? It's quite a lot. So I have taken some profits off the table because that's, for me, the right thing to do. Although, as long as we stay within this channel, and more preferably, we stay literally above this $1.20, it does make sense to expect further upside on Arbitum, and initially really like a rotation to the range. If we break the range, then it's pretty much all-time highs, and then sky's the limit, right? Then you would need to refer to other tools or simply wait for more data to come in order to make much more of an informed decision. So that is what I'm expecting. And to be honest with you guys, I'm more than happy to just trade this range, because if you really measure this out, this is a 45% range from the bottom. Like, if you can be happy with 45% on a single trade, then I really truly believe you might want to work a little bit on your expectation management. because that's pretty insane. Like 45% on a trade is pretty crazy. It's not something that literally happens every day, right? At least that's not what you should expect. I know we are in crypto, crazy stuff happens every single day, but from a trader's mentality, it's pretty crazy. So, take responsibility, take your profits along the way, and I've never heard anybody go broke from taking profits, right? So that is how I approach Arbitum. Is there anything other in mind that you should be aware of on Arbitum? Yeah, I guess you can dress it up with some additional analysis, I would say. Although I definitely, I would, the midline of the channel is for me really an important level, really. It's the midline of the range, it's also a daily level, and it's also a very visible SR flip on the higher time frame, right? Where we touched it, we hovered around it, consolidation above support, looking bearish at the time, we break through, we backtest it, we have a wick through it, but it being an altcoin, I'm gonna class that as an anomaly, and I would say pretty neat backtest, even one more time, and there we drop down, giving us that full rotation, where now it looks like we have established on a daily time frame already, with daily candles close above it, we have more or less established a bullish market structure once again. Now, obviously, one thing to keep in mind, and this goes for all the altcoins, you have to always keep in mind that Bitcoin usually leads the charge. So if Bitcoin gets volatile, then altcoins usually are very turbulent, usually to the downside, right? So that is something to keep in mind. However, regardless of what Bitcoin is doing, I'm always approaching this from the individual chart. So I'm not going to anticipate on Bitcoin making this big move and then, making my decisions just because Bitcoin is doing something. I'm always correlating that to the altcoin chart and, use the levels that I find on that particular chart to make my trading decisions, right? So yeah, that is what I'm looking for on Arbitum. And what shall we do next? Let me do one more altcoin actually, and then I will move over to some questions. So Arbitum done for me. Summary, range bound, changing that daily market structure currently, reclaiming that range really. We have potential to the upside. Midline of the channel is resistance, and thus for me also a take profit level. And then simply I'm looking for that $1.70 next. If we reclaim that, well, yeah, then pretty much sky's the limit, So keeping it fairly simple on that regards. Let's now take a look at GRT next, and then I will take a look at the chat, because chat is quite busy. Chat is quite busy, so I do feel like I wanna take some questions. Empty chart, as you can see. Let me take a good look at GRT. If you followed me for a long while, then you know that I am and remain pretty heavily invested in GRT. I like the coin quite a bit. Done really well. I like it a lot. But on the macro picture, what we're doing now is it looks like we obviously had a massive run on GRT, which I traded really, really, really well. And since then, we've pretty much just retraced it. Typical altcoin behavior, to be honest. One of the few coins that I'm fundamentally aware of kind of what it is, and I like it. But now it looks like we're starting to form some sort of a base. And that is what I would like to see. It kind of starts looking like an accumulation area. We were in a pretty heavy downtrend coming from all the way up to, if I'm not mistaken, $2 something, or $3 really. And we drizzled all the way down, maintaining that bearish market structure at the time, right? Never really reclaiming any kind of level. And now we have done so in January, or as a matter of fact, in the beginning of February for the first time. Massive increase in price. Absolutely crazy. This was 300% increase, which is nuts. Which is nuts. However, if you just zoom out, it looks like it's not really doing anything, right? That's why I always need to keep things in perspective. But in the process of doing so, right, what we've done since then is we took out this high and we closed exactly on that wick. And since then, we've seen a major retracement. Also, again, huge percentages, right? 54% decline. And I think this also shows that you always need to keep your expectation management in check, because altcoins, when they go up, they tend to go up hard. But the same goes for when they decide to retrace, right? When they retrace, they easily retrace 50, 60 plus %. That's why taking profits is very important, guys. It's great if you have a lot of P&L, but it's not really useful if you don't realize it, you know? So general message here, take profits along the way, regardless if you think it's going to go to the moon or not, right? And that's also what this channel is for. It's for sensible trading. But I'm actually happy that it did so, because for the first time, it actually gave us a level that is, first of all, it managed to reclaim something. And second of all, it defined a strong resistance level. And that is something we can really use for. And as you can see, we are now starting to get this really nice accumulation range, where I would personally say, if you're looking for something more long-term, I would say, if you simply would divide this range into two sections, the lower end and the upper end, I would say the lower end provides for great opportunities, right? It provides for great opportunities, whereas the upper part is more or less of a, I would say a development zone where price could potentially form yet another base to maybe break out. At the moment is unclear, but it is starting to look a lot better than it did half a year ago or a year ago, because we're now starting to slow down on the downtrend, and instead we're starting to go sideways, forming that base. And you know, the longer that takes, the better it's going to be once it breaks out. It can take quite a long time, because we can easily still range from for a really long time again. So if you want to trade this on a more on not such a macro picture, then what I would probably do is the following. Let me do some analysis, right? Okay, so I happen to know that the golden pocket is usually well respected on this asset, and as you can see, we are now hovering around it. So we are literally at support, also the midline of the range. Let me see what the volume is actually doing. Okay, that is of the entire range. And how does that look like? Okay, so naturally that 15 cents is big resistance. 15 cents is big resistance. Where you now have these lows, you have that resistance over here, and then ultimately you have the much bigger resistance coming up as well, which makes it actually tradable, right? So as a matter of fact, it looks like GRT currently is at support. Hasn't changed local market structure just yet. So for a good opportunity, and again, not signals. This is not a signal, right? This is just my analysis. Currently, I would be interested in trading this if we actually start to reclaim this, 13 cents really? If we really start to reclaim that, establishing that market structure, I would say. Then I would actually be interested in it. As a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and set an alert on that. Let me just do that. So I want to be alerted over here, and I also want to be alerted over here. This is, by the way, also the stuff that I'm going to do in the Discord community way more often, by the way. So you're really going to get the whole package, you know? I'm gonna be explaining everything in detail as well. And I think for now, that is for me pretty much enough on GRT. Yeah, you could day trade it as well, but this stream I want to focus more on the mid to high time frame. So I don't really want to go into day trading. There are definitely opportunities to day trade this, for example, but I don't really want to go in detail on that because for the reasons I just mentioned. So conclusion on GRT, starting to build a base, which is starting to look good on the macro picture. We are establishing support in that middle of the range. And within that middle of the range, we have our levels as well that you can literally swing trade. Because after all, this is a massive range, a 300% range. Even if you're trading like this local range, it's kind of crazy to call this a local range. I would say midterm range, actually. We are talking about okay, 75%. That's crazy. That's crazy. So we are really talking about 75% range here. So I think the opportunities can be very good here on GRT. I'm keeping my eye on this one for sure. And yeah, for now, that's pretty much all I need. I'm not really interested in trading this currently. I'll give you the reason as well, because since we're talking such large percentages, I mean, look at this. This is a 20% range as well. We have, bounced from here. We've retraced from here. This could have provided a really nice opportunity. My estimate, if I would eyeball it, is probably the golden pocket as well. 786 this time. Okay. So deep retracement, that could have been a really nice opportunity. And for me, to just jump into a trade here, right now, is simply we are at that resistance level over here, like this region, based on a daily level to the wick, candle close, to the wick. We are in this resistance region right now, and that's not really a place where I would personally feel very comfortable entering into, let's say, a fresh trade. I want to see either higher prices or simply lower prices so I can buy it for cheaper. Hence the reason why I've set these alerts over here. So that is 2 altcoins covered. GRT, let me cross that off as well. Kaboom! Making moves here, guys. Let me pop out the chat. Let me pop out the chat for a second. I see a lot of spam coming in. I'm not sure really what that is. But let me just scroll through it. Let me just scroll through that. Hope you guys are having fun, guys. Hope you guys are having fun. By the way, if you've tuned in a little bit later, launching a Discord community. The website just gone live. Scroll up a little bit in the chat and you can simply click on the link to check it out. If you have questions, you can contact the live chat over there and they will help you. Firewall blocks access. Okay, we'll take a look at that, my friend. Let me just start off with welcoming you guys, by the way. Totally forgot that. I normally welcome everybody, so welcome everybody. Happy you guys are joining me on this stream. Let me see. Will the Compass series still continue? It will continue, but it will continue inside the Discord community. The original plan for the Crypto Compass was that it was a limited series only to begin with. So this week is actually the last week that I'm doing the Crypto Compass series, but no worries, I will continue generating free content for you guys. So it's not like I'm gonna hide everything, and never do live streams on YouTube anymore. There will always be a free section, but the Discord's just gonna be much more focused on the intraday trading and really the ins and outs as prices progressing throughout the day. So that is basically the idea, and ultimately I will probably do some other project publicly on YouTube as well. But the Crypto Compass was a limited series to begin with. I would say consider it a trial, more or less. I guess that's maybe a good and healthy way to look at it. I see some things about the price. I'm not going to discuss that in the stream. Yep, I'm 100%. Well, not 100%, but I live in the Netherlands, yes. People wanting some levels over here. Stoked on the Discord. Awesome. Happy to welcome you over there. Dude, how about Atom? Yeah, I guess, yes, Atom I saw actually sometimes through also in the Twitter. If we do have the time, I do, I do want to take a look at Atom, actually. I kind of forgot to write that one down. So let me write that down right now, and I will do that as well. Thank you. Atom going to 0. I don't know. We're going to find out. And then we have just basically a lot of requests on altcoins. So not too much questions actually coming in. I don't know. So display, I see that you are asking about the Nightbot deleting your messages. I don't know because I haven't read them. It could be that it's not configured well. So don't take it personally. Maybe try asking your question with maybe like a little bit of less caps lock. Could be a reason why it blocks you. I will take a look at this after the stream and I will fix that. And let me restore the chat. Okay, so I see one final question coming in, and then I will continue doing some analysis, which is the 20% discount is indeed an early bird discount on your first purchase. So whether you're interested in a monthly or a yearly, whatever, you're just gonna get 20% off for your first purchase. If you choose the yearly one, you even get another 15% on top of it, actually. So yeah, that's the deal currently. The offer will expire on the 14th of June, when the website goes live. Okay, so I do not see much more questions coming in. Then let's move over to the next altcoin. What shall I do next? I want to do Matic because I think Matic is starting to reach an interesting place. Matic is one that really fooled a lot of people. So this is the USDT chart, but for Matic specifically, I'm going to look at the Bitcoin pair because at the time, this was in February as well, it certainly seemed like it was on its way to all-time highs, right? And the reason why I wanted to cover Link is because I do find educational value in this stream. Because I've already touched upon this a couple of times now, which has to do with taking profits along the way. And once price reaches resistance, it's very natural for the beginner trader or the less experienced to just simply hold on and just expect it to break. This is one of its prime examples where you are having this really nice rise. Let me actually check about the volume. Yeah, volume looks actually okay on this rise. It's not overly bullish. Has to do with also the fact that I'm classing this as being in some sort of a range, right, at the time. And boy, did it fool a lot of people, especially if you're trading the Bitcoin pair. Because we were starting to hover into that resistance area, right? Again, over here. And what did we got over there? We got a massive, massive, massive rejection. Now even losing that support region that we got over here. I do think that Matic is starting to reach very interesting areas. However, at the moment, still looks very weak. What I want to see on Matic is actually change that market structure. Whether it is coming back into this region or starting to do something along the lines of this, well, maybe not like that, but maybe more something along the lines of that, then we would have that confirmed market structure while also reclaiming that previous resistance, support, sorry, because now it is just resistance. If I would just mark it out, you can just see how pretty much spot on perfect it is. We lost it. We had a bounce. Big percentage bounce, by the way. Big percentage bounce. But we got rejected at that old level. And that is now resistance. So as long as we do not either change that market structure or reclaim this level, we are currently just in a downtrend on Matic. And that is pretty much what it is, right? So I would be interested in buying Matic if we reclaim this region, right? Or I would be interested in the 786, which also lines up really nicely with that old support region over here. That is where I would be interested. Currently, I think Matic is a little bit in a tough spot, although I'm not going to lie, it is starting to reach areas where I would be interested in potentially looking for an opportunity. But that opportunity is not there yet for me. So I reckon it's going to take a little while longer for Matic to do that. On the USDT pair, it is a little bit less. Well, actually, we also had quite a big a big decline here, but it looks a little bit different. We had a 48% decrease in price actually since February. So yeah, you can definitely say we had a really big decrease in volume. The chart looks different, but actually what it did, is exactly the same. Even though on the BTC pair, it's for me a little bit more clear, right? So let me actually just simplify it, yeah? So let me show you how I look at this. So let me just remove my overly simple analysis, but effective. What I was looking for is this, right? Pretty much in some sort of a range, right? Also taking this into account and the all-time high into account, right? Where you could class this as more or less of some sort of a region. We overshot it, never really made an all-time high, got rejected one time. Then on that second attempt where it's very likely a lot of people thought like, okay, this is now where we're going to go to all-time high. And we simply fooled everyone simply again and made a full rotation to the downside, dropped out of this support area, back tested it, and now it looks like it is prone to a little bit more downside. Now, if you look at the USDT pair, we have something very similar, although the chart looks completely different, right? So allow me to demonstrate. What you can see is, okay, judging from that latest all-time high, boom, drop, consolidation range, drop, right? Changing this market structure along the way. But where did we got rejected from? Boom, again, in this support region. So in that regard, it's exactly the same as the BTC pair. It's exactly the same. And since then, we've pretty much just dropped 50% on the USDT pair, and on Matic also a massive percentage, right? So there is definitely correlation in it, and it just behaves exactly the same. Personally, I prefer the BTC pair, but you can see that the technicals are extremely well respected on the dollar pair as well. Simple, basic support and resistance levels. So yeah, that is my conclusion for Matic. On the dollar pair, I would say, so in terms of support, the reason why I'm interested in the 786, by the way, is because we are attempting, or we're starting to zone into the lower region of this support region, which if you correlate that once again to the BTC pair, then you can say like, okay, basically that is another 26% drop. Now, if you correlate it once again to the Matic chart, let me see how much percentage that would be. Boom. 24%. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, 24%. And that is how we find our correlation on both charts. Well, I'm literally giving out, like, I would say golden nuggets here for free out on YouTube. Make notes, I would say, because this is, yeah, I think this is pretty good stuff. Right, so then we got Atom, what was this again? Matic, boom, covered. Next, DOT. You see, guys, This is not a no bullshit stream. I'm not shilling anything like extensively unless I have a really important announcement to make. But overall, no nonsense, just, putting in the effort and the work, and that's about it. Very, very old analysis. So let me just delete everything. Yeah, let me just get a fresh look on DOT. Looks horrible. Not gonna lie. Looks horrible at the moment. Looks not great. This is on a really big time frame, right? Looks like a relentless downtrend. And so far, not reclaimed anything. Like 0. Starting to look like a formal, hold on a second. It's starting to look like we are forming a range. And then on the dollar pair, well, looks like we're doing exactly the same, right? I don't know what this is really doing here. Probably some examples that I was laying out, I guess. Yeah, this channel is just... First of all, I'm basically deciding what I want to do with this channel. I'm gonna leave this on for in the future. So on the USDT pair, it starts to look a little bit... Let me take a moment on this one. Let me just take a good look at this and think. What I think on this chart. I would say it could be a tricky chart, because on one hand, it looks similar to GRT, like it's starting to form a base, which I think could potentially fool a lot of people. Like, oh, we're slowing down the trend. Yes, that may be true. That may be true. But the big difference with the GRT chart is that we have not really tested any real resistance yet. So I'm going to be very cautious at the moment on DOT, which is basically looking at it in this way. We are dropping, but we are still making lower lows and lower highs. So the trend is very down, even though it looks like we're starting to go sideways. Don't be fooled by other YouTubers or other trading gurus. The facts remain, we are still in a downtrend. Correlating that with the Bitcoin chart, I think looks really bad. It doesn't look great, to be fair. I am invested in DOT, right? But that's a totally different strategy. I'm not really trading DOT. It's more like an investment strategy where I stake. And besides, I'm hedged or still on DOT anyway. So for me, it doesn't really matter if we drop further. But to look for new opportunities, I'm not feeling too great about that, to be 100% honest with you. Maybe we just pump like 100% tomorrow. That would probably, at least give some more conviction. I'm really gonna have to dive much more locally into the DOT chart, where I would really say this range really needs to be broken to the upside to at least show like a super mini early sign of strength. Because I think the DOT chart at the moment, at current time of recording and doing this video, looks really weak. I'm not interested in trading this here at all. Looks really bad. However, if we do start forming a range here, right? Or in other words, if we start reclaiming this local structure that is similar on the USDT pair and the Bitcoin pair, as you can see, boom, also this range, right? Then I might be a little bit more interested, because at least you have a base and a good invalidation region where you could potentially look for something like this, look for the backtest, and then you can trade it up. But we are currently at resistance, even locally on DOT. So at the moment, I simply do not see a good opportunity. And I think this chart might be fooling, might be deceitful, might be deceiving a lot of people. That's what I personally think. Obviously, I'm happy to be proven wrong because, after all, I am invested in DOT, so I would like nothing more than it to just pump to the moon. But I have to remain realistic here. And that is what I think. That is what I think. At the moment, it just looks not great. It looks like the trend is slowing down, but I'm just not convinced yet. You know, I want to see more conviction. I want to see some significant increase in price first, reclaiming at least that local range that I just showed, and I want to see at least an attempt that we're gonna make this rotation up to the range. As a matter of fact, I would actually be much more interested in another drop, to be 100% fair, to around that $4 region, where I could be looking for a bounce there, right? And that from there on out is another 25%, really. So that is where I would be interested. Currently, not. Currently not. So, wow, let me know in the comments, by the way, guys. Let me know if you like what I'm doing here. Let me know if you if this is helpful to you. Like I said, I'm not shilling anything, you know. I'm just giving my honest view on what I think is going on the chart, you know. I'm not the type of trader that's gonna say like, oh, I think this is gonna go up, or I think this is gonna go down. No, I take my time, I lean back, and I analyze the chart, and I simply just look at what are the facts. What are the facts that are presented in front of me? I don't care about news. I care about what the chart is giving me, because any news is always being reflected in the chart. And that chart does, at least to a large degree, on a lot of higher volume, even altcoins, the technicals are respected. And that is where I get my news from. So, damn, moving mountains here, guys. Moving mountains. So I think, let me do Atom next. And guys, just write out some questions that you might have, and I'm gonna take a look at that, and I will answer those, and we can have a little bit of a conversation. I'm not gonna make this stream too long, even though yeah, we're already on for an hour now, so I don't want to really take too much of your time. So let me just make another step with Atom. Actually, I'm not really trading Atom, so I do hear a lot of good things about it, so I think it's worth taking a look. Atom, I do know that Atom has performed really, really well in the past. I mean, I'm talking about, well, 3 years ago, probably 3.5 years ago, I traded Atom, but since then haven't really touched it. As a matter of fact, wow, this does bring me down back memory lane, to be fair. What was it again? I believe I was, oh wow, this was literally in 2019. So what I was looking at the time was this channel. This was pretty cool. What did I do here again? I think I connected it to this one. Yeah, I think that was it. Because let me make sense of this again. Yeah, and then we were here, and this is where I started be interested, and oh yeah, I remember now, we didn't make this high yet. Am I saying this correctly? Yeah, we didn't make this high yet, and therefore I think I connected it to there. Yeah, and well, it looks really nice. I can't remember. This is literally, what, 3 years ago. So I think I was looking at this channel, and I remember I traded this rise really, really well, and then ultimately just embarked on a massive bull run, right? Where we broke out massively, all-time high, all-time high, all-time high, huge drop in price. Where did we found support? Bam, midline of the channel, and then just like it's nothing, making another all-time high. Super crazy. So yeah, good chart, good chart. Okay, but that doesn't matter right now. So what are we doing right now here? let me try and make sense of this. And since then, pretty much I haven't really traded it. You know, I haven't really looked at it, I think, since mid 2021 or so. Haven't looked at it. So what happened afterwards is kind of a little bit of a mystery to me, but we're going to find out, guys. We're going to find out. Let me see. Okay. Oh my God, this is actually pretty crazy. So let me do. Wow. Oh, wow. Look at that channel. Look, actually, I just spotted that. Look how. Damn. Wow. This is why I like technical analysis, guys. I mean, look at that. Look at that. I wish I would have looked at Atom. I wish I would have looked at Atom. So, crazy respect, man. This is insane. It's insane. Bottom of the channel, backtest, drop out, reclaim, backtest midline of the channel, backtest, boom, to the high of the channel, boom, to the low of the channel, midline of the channel, small consolidation, fake out to the upside, bam, 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 boom, midline of the channel, drop the channel, backtest. Oh my God. Yeah, now I'm feeling it a little bit that I not looked at this chart, but oh boy, I would have totally destroyed this chart if I was trading it. Well, anyway, that happens when you have like thousands of altcoins. Okay, what can we do with this chart right now? What I would say is let's just mark out some support and resistance over here, key level, right? It's a really, 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 really important level. Let me hide this channel. So let's look at it a bit more sideways. Very well respected. Bam, 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 bam. So nice resistance, but far away. So we kind of need to start doing a little bit more analysis. Okay. Well, I mean, the conclusion is right off the bat, it's looking pretty much sideways at the moment. Looks like, yeah, this doesn't look anything like that. Yeah, I expect a little bit lower on Atom, to be fair. Difficult. I would be interested in the 618. I would be interested in the 618. And this, I'm going to have to look at this a little bit more locally, because overall we're just really sideways, right? Where we simply have major resistance over here, high time frame resistance over here, really big, 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 big support over here. Or at least, actually we don't know if this is big support, but we bounced from here. So therefore it can be classed as support. And it also did bounce off of this old, right? Off of this old consolidation region. So you have your horizontal support levels over here. If I would have to narrow this down, I would simply be looking at, well, really two levels. Let me see if I can find a little bit more confluence over here. I think it's worth taking a look at that. I see the chat going quite crazy, and most of it is Nightbot. So I really need to adjust this Nightbot. Apologies if it blocks you or bans you if you're not doing nothing wrong. Don't take it personally. That's on me. Daily level over here. Let me see. Let me just look at the just higher time frames actually. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Dun, dun, dun. I like doing technical analysis. I'm also really looking forward to the Discord community, right? Because I've been building quite lots of things in the last few months. So I'm also really looking back on doing extensive analysis again on like more assets than just the main crypto things and the stocks. So yeah, definitely, it's gonna be really good, I think. It's gonna be really good. Yeah, okay, so I do see some support region coming in at that golden pocket. At the moment, the trend is simply down, so I would like to see another drop into this region, right? Which marks, I would say, a pretty large region, to be fair, where I would go for a bit more of a conservative approach, where I would like to see a bounce and then that change of market structure before I would be interested in actually taking the trade. Because if we do start reaching into this level, we could definitely, because overall the trend is still down, right? Overall, the trend is still down. I would be also interested in that 786, to be fair. But I have to be totally honest with you, guys. I haven't traded this asset in, 2-3 years. So I'm a little bit fuzzy on the actual technicals that actually get respected. And for that reason, I do not really want to go into now saying like, oh, this is where I'm definitely going to be interested in buying. I would need a little bit more. I need to spend a little bit more time with this chart to see how it nowadays behaves, because 3 years has been in between the times that I've been looking at this chart. And 3 years ago, the entire markets were totally different, right? So I am a little bit out of sync on this chart. So I would really want to see how this chart reacts. And for that reason, I prefer a more conservative approach. I prefer to miss out, let's say, on the first, 20 or 20% move, if it's an altcoin, but actually have a higher probability of getting much more out of the trade afterwards, rather than trying to catch a falling knife. What if it just slices through support, right? And it just keeps on dropping, right? These percentages start to add up really big. So I'm going to be a bit more conservative. So I am interested in hitting these levels, but I'm also going to wait for this reaction to form before I'm going to make a decision. Ultimately, same saying goes, buying as low as I possibly can has my preference in the end, right? So if I see a good reaction over here, then reclaim that. I'm also interested, you know? But yeah, that's ongoing. So I'm gonna have to wait till price hits these levels. As a matter of fact, I'm just simply not really interested in higher prices, to be fair. I'm just simply not interested in buying that at the moment. So I'm just gonna simplify it, and these are levels I'm just gonna keep on. Really, that's my analysis. It may look very simple, but as you notice, as I'm talking my way through this chart, there's a lot of thought going behind it. And obviously you have to understand, I'm doing this for a while already, right? Obviously in the Discord, I'm gonna give much more information about different tools that I'm using, etc., etc. And with that, I think I also want to tie into a question, which is a very legitimate question, because I'm doing this because I'm passionate about this and I genuinely want to teach you guys something. But I do want to keep your expectations also in check in regards of the community, right? So I've already mentioned in the announcement that it's not going to be a signal group. I'm not going to give you, I'm not going to hand out trades on a silver platter. In the occasion that I do that, it will never be my intention to, for you to follow me, but rather to learn my thought process behind why I'm taking the trade. I saw this question in the corner of my eye. Let me quickly find it. So will there be a learning plan? That's a really, really good question. And the answer is yes. However, the community will be something totally separate from the courses that are going to come later this year. So I will be releasing courses where I'm going to, teach you all my methodology, but it will be something different. There will be separate courses that you can learn individually from, whereas the Discord is focused on those who are already attempting to trade the markets, who already have a little bit of knowledge, and that are just busy with day trading. And that's what the Discord is going to focus on. I will share my higher time frame analysis and swing trade analysis as well, but the main focus will be on intraday trading, and that is where I will be the most active and participate in the chat and helping you guys navigate your way throughout the session as it unfolds. If you are a beginner trader and you've never heard of like volume levels or TPO, I expect the question like, is that useful for me? It can be, but the Discord is not going to focus on teaching you the very basics. It's on a more advanced level. However, if you have heard of volume levels or if you've heard of TPO and order flow and everything like that, you will see this. Obviously, it's a big part of my trading strategy. So, you will get exposed to this information and I will go in depth on that. So just keep that in mind when you are looking to make your decision, right? I just want to be completely honest with this. So that you don't get, so that you simply, I don't want you to get into the Discord and then just get really disappointed, right? So that is what I wanted to mention. But anyway, I think it's going to be, if you're looking to day trade, I think it's going to be a good learning environment. We're gonna make it into a very safety and the attention is on you guys mostly. So that is the most important thing, to provide you with an environment where you can learn in a safe way, where no questions are like stupid questions or weird questions. We will treat everybody equally. And yeah, that is the vision behind it. So if you're looking to learn from scratch, then you will be at the good address over here at Thrive Labs, but you will just have to wait a little bit longer, because that's when we will eventually release full-fledged, high-quality, premium courses. Yeah, can I reshare the link? Sure, I can. Actually, let me not embarrass myself by not being able to type. Drive labs.io. All right, whatever. That's the link. that is the link. Okay. Will there be any other traders in my group? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. At the moment, I'm going to be the head teacher at the moment, right? In the future, we will have more, but for now, I'm gonna be there fully to your availability. The majority of my trading activity does revolve around the New York sessions, so that is most likely when I will be the most active. But obviously, if we get like a massive move in the middle of the night or something like that that's really big, obviously I'm gonna be there as well, right? Not gonna leave you guys hanging. So yeah. Wow, first of all, these lights are just smashing my face in terms of heat. So I do think I want to start working my way towards finalizing the stream. So I'm going to take a few more questions and then do a really quick conclusion and summary. And then, I hope to see you guys, first of all, tomorrow in the Crypto Compass, and then eventually on the 14th of June. Not that much questions, really. Yes, I do like and listen to your opinion and learn something new. Amazing. That gives me fulfillment. That really gives me fulfillment. Discord starts in 15 days. Yes, correct. So if you join today, then your membership will start on the 15th. Right, so you will not be charged before the 15th. So, on the moment that the website goes live, everything will kick into gear. And from that moment on, your recurring month that you paid for will start running. So, and it will be really easy. We made it. We're really putting a heavy focus on you guys, so that it's easy to connect, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Which is also the reason why I waited so long for it, because I don't want to give you like a half-assed thing, So there we go. Yeah, I think I just answered this question. So yes, if you join today you don't have access for 15 days, but you also won't pay for the coming 15 days, right? Your payment starts on the 15th. I see 2 questions in the chat that are... So first off, my high time frame bias with Elliott wave count. I'm going to do a dedicated stream on that, because if I'm going to do that now, we will sit here for another hour, and I simply don't want to take too much of your time. So I'll split that into a separate stream. But yes, I will do an Elliott wave stream very soon. Overall, at the moment, not that much has changed. Like I said before, however, it is a little bit more nuanced, and that is what I will show you in the stream, with some new expectations that you can set for yourself, etc. Can you discuss what management do you typically use? 1% portfolio, 3%. Okay, so again, that is also a topic for literally an hour-long stream. Generally, I do not take more risk than 1% of my trading portfolio. That is my general rule. And you might see like all these 100x trades. That is actually not 100x, right? I just have my exchanges set to 100x because that is the way that I manage my trade. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm trading everything on 100x, by the way. So actually, I don't really trade with leverage at all. I'm much more an advocate for slow but stable growth of your portfolio, right? Just a few percent is more than enough. Like, just do the math. If you would make literally 1% a day times 365 days, let's say, just do the math. That will give you an insane result. So I'm in that sense, I'm an aggressive trader, but I'm very conservative in my portfolio management. Very conservative. Protecting my portfolio is way more important than actually growing it at this point for me. So and the stop loss placements, there's also a whole mentality behind that. So the kind of is gonna take a while to explain. So again, I apologize, but I'm not gonna answer at this stream. Hopefully, the answer that I gave you will keep you going, and it works for you for well. You don't give signals, but can we expect updates about order flow? Yes, you can. I don't class that as signals, Signals is like, okay, enter here, exit here, take profit there, take profit this. That is what I will not do. I do not support this kind of behavior, especially in crypto. So yeah, you will also learn a lot more about my mentality, by the way, how I actually trade and how I go about my day and all that stuff. Do we actually have 5,000 subscribers? Let me quickly check now. Yes, guys. Oh my God, we have 5,000 subscribers. Yes. Hit the like and subscribe button. Let's go, guys. Amazing. This is pretty cool. We just literally hit 5,000 subscribers on stream. Amazing. Thank you guys so much. This is so cool. Just at the moment that I wanted to end the stream. Okay, goal achieved. Have a nice day. See you guys. Yeah, amazing. I'm at a loss for words. This has been such an amazing journey, guys. Half a year, not even half a year now, doing this YouTube thing. I've just been flushed with positivity throughout the time, and that really sparked my motivation to provide this type of content for you guys, and really means a lot to me. So thank you very, very much for your support. And yeah, no matter what your decision will be, I will be happy to stay in touch, whether it's to YouTube or or in the Discord. I will be continuing to do this because it's just such a blast for me. So thank you very, very much, guys, and yeah, what else is there to say? You know, like I would say, stay tuned for more stuff. Hopefully, see you in the Discord very, very, very soon. Gonna be absolutely amazing. It's only gonna go up from here. You know, like this is just really this Discord is just the beginning, because also in the Discord we have so much stuff planned for literally the rest of the year, and it's a long term thing. You know, it's gonna be here. It's gonna be here, and we're gonna stay, and we're gonna do epic stuff. So I think that is a really good way to close off the stream, because I'm always really bad in ending these things. So I'm just gonna go ahead. Thank you once again. Hope to see you in the Discord very soon. And well, we're just gonna continue like we're always doing. So tomorrow, another Crypto Compass episode where I'm going to be going over Bitcoin. Have a really, really good evening, and see you soon. Cheers, guys.